Chapter 17, The Discourse on Merit and Virtue. Chapter 18, The Merit of a Joyful Response. Chapter 19, The Merit and Virtue of a Dharma Teacher. Chapter 17 describes the various merits and virtues one may gain by hearing about the immense length of the Buddha's lifespan. Chapter 18 describes the merit of hearing the Dharma Flower Sūtra and responding with joy. Chapter 19 describes the various merits of the sixth sense faculties of those who uphold the Dharma Flower Sutra. Upholding the sutra results in these meritorious qualities, which enhance and purify the sixth sense faculties that the upholders were born with.
The Discourse on Merit and Virtue. Chapter 17. At that time, when the assembly heard the Buddha describe the immense number of eons that his lifespan encompassed, countless, limitless asamkhyaas of living beings gained great benefit. The world-honored one then said to Maitreya Bodhisattva Mahasattva, Ajita, when I described the great length of a Tathagata's lifespan, living beings as many as the grains of sand in 6,800,000 kotis of Nayutas of Ganges rivers attained the patient acceptance of the non-arising of phenomena. Furthermore, 1,000 times that number of Bodhisattvas Mahasattvas attained the Dharani door of retaining what they hear. Furthermore, Bodhisattvas Mahasattvas, as many as the dust motes in a single kiliocosm, attained unlimited eloquence in teaching others with joy. Furthermore, Bodhisattvas Mahasattvas, as many as the dust motes in a single kiliocosm, attained billions of kotis of dharanis of countless revolutions. Furthermore, Bodhisattvas Mahasattvas, as many as the dust motes in a tri-kiliocosm, became capable of turning the irreversible Dharma wheel. Furthermore, Bodhisattvas Mahasattvas, as many as the dust motes in a medium kiliocosm, became capable of turning the pure Dharma wheel. Furthermore, Bodhisattvas Mahasattvas, as many as the dust motes in a small kiliocosm, were destined to attain Anuttara Samyak Sambodhi after 8 lifetimes. Furthermore, Bodhisattvas Mahasattvas, as many as the dust motes in 4 world systems, were destined to attain Anuttara Samyak Sambodhi after 4 lifetimes. Furthermore, Bodhisattvas Mahasattvas, as many as the dust motes in 3 world systems, were destined to attain Anuttara Samyak Sambodhi after 3 lifetimes. Furthermore, Bodhisattvas Mahasattvas, as many as the dust motes in 2 world systems, were destined to attain Anuttara Samyak Sambodhi after 2 lifetimes. Furthermore, Bodhisattvas Mahasattvas, as many as the dust motes in 1 world system, were destined to attain Anuttara Samyak Sambodhi after a single lifetime. Furthermore, living beings, as many as the dust motes in 8 world systems, resolved to attain Anuttara Samyak Sambodhi. As the Buddha proclaimed the great benefit in the Dharma that the Bodhisattvas Mahasattvas had attained, Mandarava flowers and Maha Mandarava flowers rained down from space, showering the Buddhas who were seated on lion thrones beneath countless billions of kotis of jeweled trees. The flowers also settled upon Shakyamuni Buddha and Tathagata Many Treasures, who had entered parinirvana long ago, both of whom were seated on the lion throne within the stupa of the 7 treasures. The flowers also settled upon the great bodhisattvas and the fourfold assembly. There rained down finely ground sandalwood powder and agar wood incense. Heavenly drums of their own accord sounded in space, sending out wonderful sounds far and wide. Throughout the 9 directions, thousands of different kinds of precious heavenly garments rained down, and necklaces of gems, pearls, mani and wish-fulfilling pearls hung down from the sky. Priceless incense burned in censers inlaid with various precious objects, its scent naturally spreading everywhere as an offering to the great assembly. Above each Buddha were bodhisattvas, holding aloft pennants and canopies in a procession that extended up to the Brahma heavens. All the bodhisattvas, with wonderful voices, sang countless verses in praise of all Buddhas. At that time, Maitreya Bodhisattva rose from his seat, uncovered his right shoulder, placed his palms together, and spoke to the Buddha in verse. The Buddha teaches a rare Dharma that we have never heard before. The world-honored one has great powers, and his lifespan is incalculable. Countless disciples of the Buddha hear the world-honored one explain the benefits they may attain from the Dharma, and their entire beings are suffused with joy. Some dwell on the ground of irreversibility. Some attain dharani. Some attain unlimited delight in teaching others, or tens of thousands of kotis of dharanis of revolution. Bodhisattvas as many as the dust motes in the worlds of a great kiliocosm all attain the ability to turn the irreversible Dharma wheel. Moreover, bodhisattvas as many as the dust motes in the world of a medium kiliocosm all attain the ability to turn the pure Dharma wheel. Moreover, bodhisattvas as many as the dust motes in the worlds of a small kiliocosm shall, after 8 lifetimes, realize Buddhahood. Moreover, bodhisattvas as many as the dust motes in 4, 3, or 2 world systems shall, after their respective number of lifetimes, also realize Buddhahood. Moreover, bodhisattvas as many as the dust motes in a single world system shall, after a single lifetime, attain omniscient wisdom. Living beings such as these, hearing of the length of a Buddha's life, gain the pure reward of limitless freedom from outflows. Moreover, living beings as many as the dust motes in 8 world systems, hearing the Buddha tell of the lifespans of Buddhas, all make the supreme resolve. The world-honored one teaches countless inconceivable dharmas, bringing many benefits as boundless as space itself. Heavenly Mandarava flowers and Maha Mandarava flowers rain down. Chakras and Brahmas as numerous as Ganges sands come from numberless Buddha lands. Sandalwood and agar wood incense rain down profusely, falling in flurries like flocks of birds flying down from the sky, scattering over the Buddhas as an offering. In empty space, heavenly drums make wondrous sounds by themselves, while many thousands of heavenly garments come whirling and swirling down. Wonderful censers, studded with various gems, burn with priceless incense, whose fragrance spreads everywhere as an offering to the world-honored ones. The multitude of great bodhisattvas hold pennants and canopies made of the 7 treasures, lofty and splendid, tens of thousands of kotis in variety, in a procession that ascends to the Brahma heavens. Before each and every Buddha hang jeweled banners and supreme pennants, and many thousands of verses are chanted in praise of the Tathagatas. Events such as these have never happened before. Hearing of the Buddha's limitless lifespan, all are filled with joy. The Buddha, known in the 10 directions, vastly benefits living beings. All perfect their good roots, thus strengthening their supreme resolve. At that time, the Buddha said to Maitreya Bodhisattva Mahasattva, Ajita, if there are living beings who, upon hearing that the Buddha's lifespan is so very long, bring forth even a single thought of faith and understanding, the merit and virtue they attain will know no bounds. Suppose good men or good women, for the sake of Anuttara Samyak Sambodhi, were to practice the 5 paramitas, namely Dana Paramita, Shila Paramita, Kshanti Paramita, Virya Paramita, and Dhyana Paramita, but not Prajna Paramita, for 800,000 kotis of nayutas of eons. The merit and virtue they would attain, if compared with that of the previous example, would not come to even 100th or 1,000th or 1 part in 1,000,000,000 kotis. It cannot be known by calculation or illustrated by analogy. For good men or good women possessing merit and virtue such as this, to retreat from Anuttara Samyak Sambodhi would simply be impossible. At that time, the world-honored one, wishing to restate his meaning, spoke in verse. People who seek the Buddha's wisdom may practice the 5 paramitas for 800,000 kotis of nayutas of eons. Throughout all those eons, they may make offerings to the Buddhas, the Pratyeka Buddha disciples, and the multitude of bodhisattvas. Their gifts are rare, exquisite food and drink, fine clothing and bedding. They may build viharas of sandalwood, adorned with gardens and groves. They dedicate such giving of various fine and wondrous things throughout that number of eons to the attainment of Buddhahood. Furthermore, they may uphold the precepts purely, without flaw or fault, seeking the supreme path praised by all the Buddhas. They may also practice patience, dwelling on the ground of gentleness, so that, should myriad troubles befall them, their minds would not be disturbed. If those who have attained the Dharma but who harbor overbearing pride were to ridicule and harass them, they would be able to bear it. Furthermore, they may be diligent and vigorous, always holding firm to their aspiration throughout countless kotis of eons, single-minded and never lax. Furthermore, for countless eons they may dwell in tranquil places, sitting or walking, never sleeping, as they constantly discipline their minds. As a result of such practices, they develop meditative concentration, so that for 800,000 kotis of eons, their minds are firmly settled and focused. Blessed with this single-mindedness, they aspire to the unsurpassed path. May I attain omniscient wisdom and perfect the various levels of samadhi. These people, for billions of kotis of eons, may cultivate merit and virtue in the manner described above. But should there be good men or women who, hearing me speak of my lifespan, bring forth even a single thought of faith, their blessings shall exceed those of the people just described. If there are people who are completely free of doubts and misgivings, who bring forth deep faith for but an instant, they will reap blessings such as these. Should there be bodhisattvas who have practiced the path for countless eons, they shall accept with faith what I tell them about my lifespan. Individuals such as these shall hold this sutra above their heads, vowing, "May we in the future gain a long lifespan and save living beings." Just as on this day the world-honored one, king of the Shakya clan, at the sight of awakening, utters the lion's roar, teaching the Dharma without fear, so may we, in lives to come, be revered by all, and, while seated at the sight of awakening, teach of our lifespans in the same way. Should there be those of deep resolve, pure and straightforward, capable of extensive learning and total retention, who understand the meaning of the Buddha's words, people such as these will have no doubts about this matter. Furthermore, Ajita, if people hear about the length of the Buddha's lifespan and understand the meaning of these words, their merit will be without limit, and they will realize the supreme wisdom of the Tathagata. How much greater will the benefit be for those who extensively listen to this sutra, or inspire others to listen to it, uphold it themselves, or inspire others to uphold it, write it out themselves, or inspire others to write it out, or make offerings of flowers, incense, jeweled necklaces, banners, pennants, silken canopies, fragrant oils, or butter lamps to this sutra. The merit of such people will be limitless and boundless, and they will bring forth omniscient wisdom. Ajita, if good men or good women hear me explain the length of the Buddha's lifespan, and with deep minds believe and understand it, that is the same as seeing the Buddha ever present on Vulture Peak, surrounded by great bodhisattvas and the multitude of Shravakas as he expounds the Dharma. They shall also see the Saha world, its ground made of Vaidurya, flat and even, with 8 major roads bordered with Jambunada gold. They shall see rows of jeweled trees, various pavilions, and towers all made of treasures, wherein the multitudes of bodhisattvas dwell. If they are able to behold all of this, you should know that it indicates deep faith and understanding. Furthermore, after the parinirvana of the Tathagata, if people hear this sutra and do not defame it, but instead rejoice over it, you should know that this indicates their deep faith and understanding. How much the more is this the case for those who read, recite, and uphold it? These people are holding the Tathagata above their heads. Ajita, these good men or good women need not construct stupas for me, nor build monasteries, nor make the 4 kinds of offerings to the Sangha. Why not? By upholding, reading, and reciting this sutra, these good men or women have done the equal of constructing stupas, building monasteries, and making offerings to the Sangha. They have, in effect, constructed stupas of the 7 treasures using the Buddha's sharira. High and broad, these stupas taper up to the Brahma heavens and are hung with pennants, canopies, and a variety of jeweled bells. They have also, in effect, made offerings of flowers, perfume, jeweled necklaces, aromatic powder, fragrant ointment, incense, myriad drums, music, panpipes, flutes, zithers, various dances, and wonderful voices, singing hymns of praise for countless tens of millions of kotis of eons. Ajita, after my parinirvana, if people hearing this sutra can uphold it, write it out themselves, or have others write it out, then they will have done the equal of building monasteries with 32 halls of red sandalwood, 8 tala trees in height, lofty, broad, and splendid, housing hundreds of thousands of monastics. These monasteries will be filled with gardens, groves, bathing pools, pathways for meditative walking, caves for meditation, clothing, food, drink, bedding, medicines, and musical instruments. Monasteries, halls, and pavilions of these kinds, numbering several billions of kotis, will all have been presented as offerings to me and to the Sangha. Therefore, I say that after the Tathagata's parinirvana, if there are people who uphold, read, recite, or explain this sutra to others, or write it out themselves, or have others write it out, and if they make offerings to this sutra, they need not actually construct stupas, build monasteries, or make offerings to the Sangha. How much greater will be the merit for those who can uphold this sutra and at the same time practice giving, upholding precepts, patience, vigor, single-mindedness, and wisdom. Their merit shall be supreme, limitless, and boundless. Just as space to the east, west, south, north, the intermediate points, above and below, is limitless and boundless, so too shall these people's merit be limitless and boundless, and they shall quickly attain omniscient wisdom. Suppose there are people who read, recite, and uphold this sutra, explain it to others, write it out themselves, or have others write it out, and additionally construct stupas and build monasteries, make offerings to and praise the Shravaka Sangha, and laud the merit and virtue of the Bodhisattvas in billions of kotis of ways. Furthermore, suppose they explain the principles of this Dharma Flower Sutra to others in accord with their varying causes and conditions. They also uphold the precepts purely, live and work with those who are gentle and agreeable, and are themselves patient, free from anger, and firm in resolve. They always value sitting in meditation and have attained various deep samadhis. They advance with heroic vigor, internalizing all wholesome dharmas. Possessing keen faculties and wisdom, they answer difficult questions with skillful eloquence. Ajita, after my parinirvana, if good men or good women uphold, read, and recite this sutra, and have the good merit and virtue described, you should know that they have already set out for the site of awakening, are close to Anuttara Samyak Sambodhi, and are seated beneath the Bodhi tree. Ajita, in the places where these good men or good women sit, stand, or walk, you should construct stupas, and all gods and humans should make offerings to them, as if they were stupas of the Buddha. At that time, the world-honored one, wishing to restate his meaning, spoke in verse. After my parinirvana, should there be people who can revere and uphold this sutra, their blessings shall be limitless, as described above. Such people will, in essence, have perfected the practice of making all kinds of offerings, and will have constructed stupas for Sharira, adorned with the 7 treasures, with flagpoles high and broad, tapering up to the Brahma heavens, and jeweled bells numbering tens of millions of kotis, making wondrous sounds as the wind blows. Also, throughout countless eons, they will have made offerings to these stupas of flowers, incense, various jeweled necklaces, heavenly garments, and many kinds of music, and will have burned fragrant oil and butter lamps, which constantly shine brightly all around. In the troubled age, during the Dharma's demise, those who can uphold this sutra in the ways described above will, in essence, have made all these offerings. If people can uphold this sutra, then it is as if the Buddha were present, and as if with ox head sandalwood they had built monasteries as offerings, within which are 32 halls as high as 8 tala trees, all replete with supreme delicacies, wondrous clothing, and bedding. These abodes for hundreds of thousands, complete with gardens, groves, bathing pools, pathways, and caves for meditation, will be refined and adorned in all ways. If people can, with faith and understanding, uphold, read, or recite this sutra, write it out, or have others write it out, and further make offerings to the sutra by sprinkling flower scents or powdered incense, and burning lamps of oil derived from sumana, champaka, and adimuktaka at all times, they who make such offerings shall gain limitless merit. Just as space is boundless, so shall their blessings be. How much greater is the merit of those who uphold this sutra and also practice giving, uphold the precepts, cultivate patience, and delight in meditative concentration while refraining from anger and harsh speech, who are reverent in stupas and temples and humble before bhikshus, who stay far away from arrogance, and who constantly contemplate wisdom and are not angered by difficult questions, but answer them appropriately. Practicing such conduct yields unfathomable merit and virtue. If you see Dharma teachers who have accomplished virtues such as these, you should scatter heavenly flowers over them and cover them with heavenly garments. Bow your head at their feet in respect. Think of them as Buddhas. Furthermore, you should think, before long they will arrive at the site of awakening. Having attained non-outflows and the unconditioned, they will extensively benefit humans and gods. Wherever they stay, in places where they walk, sit, recline, or speak but a single verse, you should construct a stupa, wonderfully fine and adorned, and make many kinds of offerings to it. These disciples of the Buddha, dwelling in this place, enjoy it as would a Buddha. They constantly abide therein, walking, sitting, or reclining.